What is the best Marvel Disney Plus show? Well, today I'm gonna give my personal rankings of all of the Marvel Disney Plus shows to date. Let's start off with WandaVision. I'm gonna put WandaVision in S tier. I absolutely love this TV show. I think the character development in the show was amazing, and it was equally emotional as comedic. And that made the show really enjoyable, and all of the characters, especially Agatha, were very well written. Overall, this show was amazing, so that's why I'm giving it in S tier. Now to rate the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm going to be putting this show in B tier. Now this show wasn't as good as WandaVision, but it wasn't the worst. I thought the idea of the show was pretty good. The characters and all of were amazing, and the show, how it portrayed life after the blip, was done well. I just thought the show was a little bit boring at times, and the show was also immensely rushed. This show only had 6 episodes, unlike WandaVision with 9, and I feel like that made the show really rushed and unenjoyable. The ending where Falcon gave a speech was also a very bad ending. But moving on to the third MCU show, Loki. Now I'm going to be putting this show obviously at S tier. This show was absolutely amazing every second it was on. Similar to WandaVision, there was equal parts emotion to comedy, which elevated the show. The part where Loki finds out how he dies was one of the most emotional parts of the show, and I think that it's one of the most emotional scenes of the MCU to date. The show also had amazing characters, which included Sylvie, Loki, and Mobius, and that made the show so much better. And surprisingly, even though the show only had 6 episodes, it didn't feel rushed, unlike Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But moving on to the first animated Disney Plus show, What If? I'm going to be putting this show at S tier. This was one of the most enjoyable Marvel TV shows made to date. I feel like the idea of the show is really cool, and seeing how events from the main MCU timeline could have played out differently was an amazing idea. And the visuals in the show are also really amazing. And I have seen other rankings where people put it lower just because this TV show isn't connected to the MCU. And no hate on them, I totally respect their opinions, but I feel like if you have that mindset while watching something MCU related, you won't like a lot of it. For example, Thor: Love and Thunder. Apart from the Guardians in the first couple of minutes of the movie, I would say this movie is one of the least connected movies of the MCU. And there are various other movies that would support this, but I'm not here to judge. And while Thor: Love and Thunder was bad, this TV show is amazing. Overall, the show was really fun and enjoyable. Now to rate Hawkeye. I'm going to be putting Hawkeye at A tier. This was honestly a really fun show, and I absolutely loved the dynamic between Kate and Clint. I also loved how the loss of the Avengers affected Clint, and it provided for some pretty great character development. The show was also really fun all around, and I think releasing the first 2 episodes in the same day made the TV show better. The TV show was just refreshing from most of the Marvel content we've gotten throughout the years, and I really liked how they put a holiday theme to the show. Now moving on to Moon Knight, I'm actually going to be putting this show at C tier. I know a lot of people like the TV show, but personally, I thought the show was really confusing and too rushed. It was so confusing halfway through the show that I had no idea what was happening, and the ending wasn't great either. It was just a big CGI battle, and that was nothing special about it. Overall, I didn't hate the show per se. It had its moments, but I would have liked it better if it was longer and actually explained things. Once again, the 6-episode cap for these Avengers Marvel TV shows is making the shows worse. Miss Marvel is the next TV show, and I actually enjoyed this TV show a lot. That's why I'm going to be putting this show at A tier. I thought the show was really fun and represented most of the MCU watchers and their addiction to superheroes. This show was also different from most other MCU content we've gotten, which I like that a lot. The show was also really beautiful and had some really fun and entertaining moments. However, not everything was perfect about it. That's why it's not an S tier. I thought the villain was downplayed, and I would have liked to see more of the villain instead of herself just getting killed so easily. But even with the villain killed before the last episode, I think they handled the finale really well. It was really exciting, and I loved the DoD as the final villain. And personally, I would say it's one of the best finales we've gotten so far. On to the last Phase 4 Disney Plus show, She-Hulk. I'm going to be putting this show at C tier. This show wasn't that bad if I'm being honest. It just felt like it had no point to it. The show was an absolute joke, and I think it knew that as the ending to the show was so bad. But other than the show being a joke and really cringy, it wasn't half bad. It was a comedy show, and although it wasn't funny, it was entertaining for the least bit. And now to rate Marvel's latest Disney Plus show, Secret Invasion. Now before this TV show was released, many referred to this show as the Marvel Savior, where Marvel would finally release something serious and emotional. But these expectations fell really quickly. I'm going to be putting this show at dog water tier. This is some of the most boring dog water I've ever seen. Throughout the entire show, I really had to just force myself to watch it. In my opinion, there was just way too much talking and not enough secret invasion. And the finale, woo, I just have to say that was one of the worst things I ever watched. The finale was so lackluster and ended things so abruptly, and the show's ending wasn't even that satisfactory. Nick Fury came to Earth because it was his fault the Skrulls and the humans were at war, and at the end of the entire show, the situation just got worse. Honestly, worst show ever. The only thing, if there is anything about it that was good, is Gaia's character arc, and that in itself wasn't even that good. And that is the end of the video, so comment down below what you think of Marvel's TV shows, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.